What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Flame Entertainment and Sports. It's your boy Rob here. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Before I get into what we're gonna talk about on today's show, just want to put out a little quick message. I'm not trying to be political here. Never, talk politics. This podcast isn't about politics, but just put out one message because I feel it's important. For those of you that don't know, a couple of days ago, President Trump, someone tried to assassinate him once again. This time it was in his own golf club, actually, in Jupiter, West Palm Beach. And I just want to put out this message to say that this is not okay. Regardless of who you like, who you're voting for, what your beliefs are in politics, this is like so un-American. It's so evil. And I feel like more people need to, talk about it. And we all need to put prayers out there for President Trump. And of course, for President Biden, for Vice President Harris, and for everyone else, involved in this presidential race, right? Like I said, I'm not trying to be political here. I just feel it's something important to talk about because it's about being a good person at the end of the day. Like I said, you don't have to be a supporter of Donald Trump. I just feel if you have a good heart, if you're a good person, this should make you upset, and this should make you wonder, like, well, what the hell is going on in our country, Who's trying to kill Donald Trump? Like, what's going on here? What's going on with the Secret Service, with the CIA? I think these are questions that people should be asking. And like I said, you don't have to be a supporter of Trump to be asking these questions. I mean, if you have a good heart and, you care about being a good person, this is something that should concern all Americans at the end of the day. So, yeah, I just felt this was important to talk about here. That's how I'm going to, cover regarding that subject. But I wanted to make sure to get it out here at the beginning of this episode. And yeah, with that said, on today's show, as always, we're going to start off in the entertainment world. We're going to cover night one of Dancing with the Stars as season 33 premiered on Tuesday. And it was a hell of a premiere. Very many impressive dances. A lot of people that did a hell of a job. So I'm excited to cover that. Then also in entertainment, we're going to be talking a little bit about P. Diddy, as he's finally been indicted and arrested in New York City for years of evil acts. And then we're going to go into the sports world. Obviously, since our last episode, a lot has gone on, specifically, of course, in the NFL as a whole, but specifically with my team, the Miami Dolphins. Those of you watching here on YouTube, you can see I'm wearing Tua's jersey. Obviously, it's been a rough couple of days as a Dolphin fan, and just as a fan of Tua Tagovailoa, the person, it's been tough to see him go through another, scary concussion, another scary incident on the football field. With all that said, I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to, follow us, keep up with us on social media, on Instagram and TikTok. We're at the flame_ES. Once again, on Instagram and TikTok, the flame_ES. And I want to thank everybody who's been keeping up with our content on Instagram and TikTok. Really appreciate it. Thank you for everyone who's watched or listened to any of our past two episodes. Our viewership on YouTube dramatically went up in comparison from last episode to the one from the previous week. So I want to thank everyone out there who took the time to watch, anyone who took the time to listen on a podcast platform, and anyone who gave us a like, anyone who subscribed to us. I really appreciate it. If you think any of your friends or family would enjoy any of these topics I'm going to cover on today's show, please make sure to share it with them. I'd really appreciate it. Please make sure to rate and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on there as well. Subscribe on YouTube. Comment on YouTube, on Instagram, TikTok. Let me know what you guys want me to talk about on here. And with all that said, let's get into some entertainment talk. All right, guys. So as I said in the intro, the first, we're only going to have two topics on today's entertainment portion of the episode. As I said, we're going to start off with Dancing with the Stars. A highly anticipated premiere of season 33 occurred on Tuesday. It was a hell of a show. For those of you that are new to the podcast, last year for season 32, I covered Dancing with the Stars, and what I did after each episode, I would recap it, and I would go in order from the first couple of the night, finishing with the final couple of the night. I'd give you the score I gave the couple, and then I'd give you the actual score they received from the judges. Before I get into that, as I've repeated a couple times now, it was a super impressive opening night. I think this is going to be one of the best seasons we've ever seen in the history of this show because there's multiple dances where um, they kind of look like they could be finale dances, and the fact that I'm saying that on night one speaks volumes to the talent and how competitive the season's truly gonna be. With that said, the first couple of that night was Joey, the latest Bachelor, and Jenna Johnson, and Joey and Jenna did a tremendous job starting off season 33 of Dancing with the Stars. I was super impressed. I think most people have been impressed. If you see the reaction on social media and within Bachelor Nation, everyone's super impressed by Joey, and it doesn't shock me with a coach like Jenna that Joey already looks so ahead, right? He doesn't look like a day one dancer, and it doesn't shock me because Jenna's such a great coach and she always knows how to get the best out of each one of her partners. With that said, I gave Joey and Jenna a 21, and that is exactly what they received from the judges. Each judge gave them a 7. And with that said, I also want to read to you their dance was to Dancing in the Country by Tyler Hubbard. Basically, the theme for this opening night of Dancing with the Stars, each celebrity got to choose a song which they believe describes themselves. So that was Joey and Jenna's song, and like I said, I think they did a hell of a job starting off season 33, and I can't wait to see what they do next week on episode 2. Following them was Brooks and Gleb, who they've been called the hottest couple on this season. Of course, Brooks, the Sports Illustrated model. Then Gleb, he's known as probably the best looking guy on Dancing with the Stars. I would say they had a pretty rough start to the season. It wasn't the worst dance of the night, but it also it wasn't near the top at all. I would say they're pretty average. But that said too, though, I mean, Joey and Jenna did such a great job opening up that it's kind of tough at the same time too, because on night one you don't really expect the first couple to come out with such a bang and such a impressive performance like Joey and Jenna did. So yeah, Brooks and Gleb, Brooks is they're both a little off. It didn't seem like they're in full. I don't know, they weren't like fully in sync, I guess you could call it. But that's kind of expected. It's night one. Brooks is a model. She's not a dancer. I know she danced in high school, but I mean, this is a different monster. She was a high school dancer. This is ballroom dancing, and it's a whole different thing. So it's gonna be interesting to see, because next week's a double elimination, right? And obviously, a lot of couples stay around because of the fan voting. But at the end of the day, I feel like Brooks and Gleb really very much need an improved performance the coming week for people to justify keeping them around in the competition. Following Brooks and Gleb, we had Ilona and Alan. Of course, Ilona, the rugby star from the Olympics, and Alan. I thought I was expecting more out of this couple. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't really impressed by this dance at all. It felt a little off. I was kind of bored. But with that said, I know, like I've said multiple times already, it was night one. So obviously, some of these celebrities have zero dance experience, or this is all new for them, right? And so I just want to clarify that. I don't want to have to keep repeating it. But yeah, I'm not trying to like bash anyone. I'm not trying to talk down on any of these couples. I love all these couples. Honestly, I voted for every couple last night because I love, I just love the show in general. But yeah, so Ilana and sorry, I forgot one thing with Brooks and Gleb. I forgot to see their score. I gave them a 17. They received an 18 from the judges. Then Ilona and Alan, to go back to them, I gave them a 16. They received an 18. So the first 3 couples, me and the judges are pretty much aligned. Then we moved on to the 4th couple, which was Reginald and Emma. Of course, Reginald, he's the oldest person on the show, 72 years old. And then Emma, I talked about her, I was able to meet her a couple months ago when Dancing with the Stars was here in Miami. I wore a shirt of her. She was super cool. She was awesome. So I'm always going to cheer on Emma. Reginald, I think it was pretty much expected. Like I said, he's the oldest person on the show. There wasn't very many steps for him. He was basically just standing in the middle of the floor. And Emma was kind of just doing some dance moves around him. But I mean, at the end of the day, he had a smile on his face. He was charismatic. At least it looked like he was having some fun. I gave them a 15, and they received a 16 from the judges. Then next up, a couple that very much impressed me. They're in my preseason top 4, and I think they had a hell of a debut on this show. Is Danny Amendola and Whitney Carson. Of course, Whitney, back in the ballroom, and then Danny, his first dance here with Dancing with the Stars. I think he did a tremendous job. I do agree with the judges. Really, the only thing he has to work on is his facials. He has to show more joy or more. He has to smile more. I think in nature he's more of a serious, laid back kind of guy. I don't think that he's not like enjoying this. I think he is enjoying it, but I think he's just used to being like more serious. And he's a football player, right? So it makes sense. But I think Danny and Whitney, though, overall, as a performance, I think it was a tremendous performance. I was very much impressed by Danny. I think he did a hell of a job with his dance routine there. And of course, Whitney, seeing her back in the ballroom was a complete joy. She's a legend of Dancing with the Stars, so it's always great, right, to see one of the great ones come back. And then I gave them a 23. They received a 20 from the judges. So, me and the judges have been pretty much aligned so far. Then we moved on to Tori Spelling and Pasha. So Tori, she actually impressed me. She did better than even what I expected. I expected her to be like pretty good, but she was better than pretty good. If that makes sense. What I enjoyed the most about this performance between Tori and Pasha is the joy, right, that I saw in Tori's face, her eyes. She just lit up. You could tell she was living in the moment and just having so much fun. And at the end of the day, that's one of the biggest parts of this show is to get people out of their comfort zone, people that aren't used to dancing, aren't used to dancing in front of millions of people. A lot of people there in the audience, and then the millions of people watching around the country, right? And I think Tori she showed so much joy, and as the dance went on, you saw her improve little by little. And I just think Pasha, to me, he's arguably the most underrated pro on this show. He always finds a way to get the best out of his partners. Some of my all-time favorite couples in the history of the show, Pasha with Kate Flannery from The Office, and then last season, Pasha with Ariana Madix from Vanderpump Rules and Love Island and all that stuff. And then I feel like with this night one dance, Tori and Pasha are one of my favorite couples already on this season. And I gave them a 19. They received an 18. So, me and the judges were pretty much aligned there. Next up, we had, the most recent bachelorette, Jen, and her partner, Sasha. I thought Jen and Sasha, they kind of underwhelmed me for what I was, expecting from them. But I do feel that next week they might be the most improved couple. That's really what I'm feeling in my gut right now. I gave Jen and Sasha 18. They received a 19 from the judges. Next up, we had Chandler and Brandon, arguably the best dancer of the night. I was absolutely mind blown and beyond impressed by Chandler. She did such an incredible job. She looked like a naturally gifted dancer, and she just gave somebody this couple, like Chandler and Brandon, gave me so many vibes of last year's champions Sochi and Val. This is just a star-studded, amazing performance. As Carrie Ann said, this is the standard now, right, for season 33 of Dancing with the Stars, started by Chandler and Brandon. With that said, I gave him a super high score. For those of you that don't know, the highest score you could get on this competition is a 30. I gave him a 28, and they received a 23 from the judges. Then we moved on to another top performance of the night, Dwight Howard and Daniela. Dwight, he did an incredible job with his dancing. His smile lights up the room, like Derek Huff said after their performance, and he just brings so much joy. You just want to hang out with him. You want to root for that guy. He brings so much joy and happiness. And then Daniela, as always, incredible, a complete superstar, complete badass as always. I gave this couple a 26, another high score, and they got a 22, so one notch below Chandler and Brandon. Then we moved on to Eric and Britt, one of the lower performing couples of the night, I would say. Eric, you could see his acting, his career. I think he said he's been acting for 45 years or something, and you can see that on full display. Because what you saw really in this performance was him acting rather than actually doing any dance moves. So I was really impressed by them. I am a big fan of Britt, and hopefully they're able to improve next week. As I mentioned earlier with Brooks and Gleb, next week is double elimination. So if Eric and Britt want to stick around, they're gonna have to have a huge turnaround next week. I gave them a 15, and that's exactly what they received from the judges. Then we moved on to Phaedra and Val, who I was super impressed by. Obviously, Val, he's one of the all-time greats of this show. He's incredible. You're always gonna have a chance to win and perform greatly with him as your coach or partner. And then Phaedra, I think she did a hell of a job. She has such a great personality, great charisma, and she showed great facial expressions. It's funny because you could kind of put Danny Amendola and Phaedra, right? I would say Danny as a dancer overall was better. But then Phaedra's personality and facial expressions were actually saved her and were made her this dance look better than Danny and Whitney's, in my opinion. As I gave Danny and Whitney, as I said earlier, 23, and I gave Phaedra and Val 24, and they received a 19 from the judges. Now we moved on to my favorite dance of the night, Steven and Rylee. I would say probably arguably the preseason favorites to win this whole competition. Steven and Rylee, absolutely incredible. Steven impressed me like crazy. There are so many moves that he did. He ended with a split. He did a jump over Rylee. He did a front, I think it's called a front walkover. I think I said that correctly. My sister gave me the right term earlier in the day, so thank you for that, D. But yeah, Steven and Rylee, incredible. Rylee coming into her second season, an absolute superstar. I mean, we all saw it from day one last year. And with that said, I gave Steven and Rylee a 29, so nearly a perfect score. And they received a 21 from the judges. Then our final dance of the night was a performance that over exceeded my expectations. But the personality part of this celebrity kind of could make her a favorite to be eliminated next week in the double elimination. And that is Anna Delvey and Ezra Sosa. Before I get into this, shout out and congratulations to Ezra Sosa. His first dance as a pro on Dancing with the Stars. Great job. Happy for him. I've been a big fan. I've been one of the people rooting for this to happen for the last couple of years. So couldn't have been happier to see Ezra out there. But that said, Anna Delvey, her dance moves impressed me. She looked better than I thought she would as a dancer. But unfortunately, it seems like her personality and her attitude might, knock her out of this competition early. One of the questions asked to her before receiving her scores from Julianne Hough was, what was your favorite part of doing this, first dance? And she said, my favorite part is that I don't have to do it again. I know some people might be like, oh, she's just sarcastic, this and that, but it kind of was like, she's had so many comments already like that, and then to add on, it just, I think it's too much, and it's looking like they may be one of the two couples exiting next week. It's just a gut feeling I have. I gave Anna and Ezra a 17. They received an 18 from the judges. Now, before I wrap this up, so my two highest scores of the night, once again, I had Steven and Rylee with a 29, and then I had Chandler and Brandon with a 28. Then my lowest scores of the night went to Reginald and Emma with 15, and Eric and Britt with 15. And then from the judges, from the actual leaderboard, the highest score of the night went to Chandler and Brandon with a 23. And then we had two couples, right? Oh, no, we had one couple with 22, which was Dwight and Daniela. We had two couples tied at 21, Joey and Jenna and Steven and Rylee. And then the lowest of the night was Eric and Britt with 15. And right above them, we had Reginald and Emma with 16. So yeah, next week, make sure to tune in to Dancing with the Stars live, 8 o'clock Eastern time on ABC and Disney+. Second episode of season 33. And since there was no elimination on night one, there'll be a double elimination next week. Going to be interesting to see. I think the bubble we could look at here, could look at Anna and Ezra. We could look at Reginald and Emma. We could look at Eric and Britt. And we could look at Brooks and Gleb. Those are the four couples I'm looking at as part of the double elimination next week. And yeah, I very much enjoyed this premiere though. I think you guys could tell how impressed I am, how excited I am to see what else comes along in this journey, right? Season 33. Shout out to all the judges, Carrie Ann and Abba, Derek Huff, Bruno Tonioli. Shout out to the hosts. They did an incredible job as well. Julianne Huff and Alfonso Ribeiro. And I want to shout out Carrie Ann really quick. I think she did a beautiful job talking about Anna, basically telling people to give her a chance, regardless if you agree with what she's done, getting arrested and scamming so many people. Just give her a chance on this dance floor. I thought that was such a beautiful and powerful and uplifting moment from Carrie Ann and Abba. I think it speaks volumes and as to what type of person she is, the heart she has. I think that was a beautiful moment. One of the best moments I've ever seen part of this show. So shout out to Carrie Ann for that. That was amazing. And at the end of the day, we're all humans. We all make mistakes. And we should all give each other a chance to grow and to learn and to become a better person. With that said, that's going to wrap up this Dancing with the Stars episode 1 of season 33 talk. Now we're going to move on to some P. Diddy. So P. Diddy On Tuesday, same day as the Dance with the Stars premiere, he was indicted in New York City, finally arrested for years of evil acts, for years of um, sexual assault towards men, towards women. He's drugged thousands of people, and he's just a very bad guy. Someone who's been reporting this for many, many years is NT Lawyer. For those of you that are into the blind item world, you know who this is. He's basically the creator or the king of blind items. His website is crazydaysandnights.net. I wanted to make sure to shout out NT because he's been spilling all this quote unquote hidden secrets, I guess you could call them. He's been spilling them on his website for many, many years. So it's amazing now that the public finally sees what a monster P. Diddy is. I'm not gonna go long here because obviously there's so many details and so many nasty things that he's done to people, and he's not gonna be the only one. I just want to warn you guys, he's not gonna be the only powerful person or big name person that you're gonna hear fall. He's gonna bring down other people. My prediction. So for those of you that don't remember, a couple of months ago, P Diddy's houses were raided here in Miami, and then his place in New York was raided as well, I think, and maybe LA. And when that happened a couple months ago, I told my parents actually. I told them, remember this, Jay-Z's coming next. And little by little, as P Diddy is finally indicted, I have a feeling any day now we're gonna see Jay-Z finally be taken down for all the bad stuff he's done as well. I'm not saying, obviously, I don't have any proof of this. What P Diddy's done, the FBI came out. The information is out there. With Jay-Z, I'll say, oh, it's a legend. But Jay-Z's coming up next because he's done a lot of bad stuff as well. And there's going to be other big people you're going to see, other people probably in the music industry. You kind of hear rumblings. Allegedly, you can hear Clive Davis, the longtime music producer. There's going to be some other people involved in this. And I'm predicting that Jay-Z is the next one after P. Diddy. But that said, I'm going to wrap up that talk there. I don't have much else to say. You guys can see all the information and documents online or wherever you get your news. But it's just, it's crazy to see the public, right? The people that don't really, read blind items, finally see the truth come to light. So, the truth will prevail. And it's prevailing right now. With that said, we're going to move in now to the sports world. The main topic on today's show for sports will be my Miami Dolphins. Last week, we had a Thursday night football game against the Buffalo Bills. We lost 31-10. But that wasn't the main loss, right, of that game. Unfortunately, in that game, in the third quarter, Tua Tagovailoa, he was running for a first down, and he had a collision with Damar Hamlin. And fortunately, Tua, got knocked out on the floor. His fingers were all, kind of crooked. And it took us back to 2 years ago when the same thing happened on the Thursday night as well in Cincinnati against the Bengals. And it was just, I was there in the stadium. It was very sad to see. It's just heartbreaking to see such a good person go through so many tough times, and to see his health and brain and future, right, beyond football be sacrificed and compromised so many times. It's a scary situation overall. It's affected a lot of us in Dolphin Nation. It's not just about football for us. Tua's such a great person. It goes beyond him being a great quarterback or teammate or leader of the team or winner, whatever you want to call it. This guy's a great human being. He's a father. He's a husband. He's a son. And he's just a great person overall. So it's just heartbreaking to see Tua go through this again. Right now, reports are saying that in the coming days, he'll be meeting with, brain specialists to see ultimately what he should do regarding his career. Should he continue playing football, or is it more safe for him to not play football? All that will be determined. And at the end of the day, that's all up to Tua and his loved ones, and whatever he believes in his heart is the right thing to do. I don't think any one of you that keep saying, oh, he should retire, oh, he should keep playing, it's none of your decisions. It's okay to have opinions about the situation. I'm not saying it's not. But I think a lot of you just think that you're like experts and, no, he has to do this, he has to do that. Hey, it's up to him and his loved ones. Like I said, that's the main thing at the end of the day. But that said, to get into some football talk. So overall, it was a disappointing showing by my Miami Dolphins. We fought a 1-1 in the year. Buffalo improves to 2-0, and they continue to own us. They continue to be our daddy, whatever you want to call it. They completely outcoached us, outplayed us. We looked like a complete joke out there, specifically from a coaching standpoint and from the offense. I think Mike McDaniel did a terrible job. He wasn't prepared. He keeps doing the same mistakes over and over again. Yeah, we're in his third year. Yeah, he just received a contract extension before the season started, and it's just so disappointing to see him do the same mistakes over and over and over and over again. No one calls him out. This is nothing personal, but at the end of the day, this is about winning football games and putting your players in the best possible positions to succeed. And another thing, is putting your best players out there in the most crucial situations. For all you people, right, that hate on Tua, right? He threw 3 interceptions. So those of you, of course, he's not good. You guys haven't liked him for years. The first interception was not on Tua. It was on Grant DeBose, wide receiver the Dolphins picked up a couple weeks ago. He got cut, I think, by Green Bay after the preseason. We had a crucial 3rd and 13. And what does Mike McDaniel do? He takes off Jalen Waddle, takes off Tyreek Hill, 2 of the top 5 highest paid wideouts in the game, 2 of the fastest in the game, 2 of the best in the game. He puts in Grant DeBose and he puts in Robbie Chosen Anderson, whatever his name is. Tua throws a pass directly at DuBose. It hits his shoulder, and he kind of looked like he wasn't expecting the ball, even though he's a wide receiver. Second interception, Robbie Chosen Anderson, whatever his name is, he slips, and then ultimately, Tua overthrew him. The third interception, I will say, was on Tua. It was a bad decision. He was trying to make something out of nothing, and ultimately it cost us a pick 6, okay? So I'm not trying to give him excuses, but I'm not going to take the slandering and the BS by those of you that watch and don't know and have no clue of what you're actually watching and what's actually in front of you and what's going on in this game. So it was disappointing. Mike McDaniel continues to get play calls in late. The Dolphins get out of the huddle like 11 or 10 seconds left on the play clock. There's no time for Tua to call an audible. Then after Tua goes down, our backup comes in, Skylar Thompson. Same crap. The plays are coming in late. And then people are booing Skylar Thompson. They're talking crap about him. And no one wants to call out Mike McDaniel because most of you don't know football at the end of the day. I'm sorry. If I sound rude, but it just gets tiring because I know I have a high IQ for what goes on in football. I know all the parts, that creates a successful team, what you need to do to be a successful team. And most of you that watch don't know all that goes into it, but you act like you do and you talk like you do. So it just gets frustrating seeing Coach Mike McDaniel doing the same mistakes in year 3. At the end of the day, he's under contract till 2028. We've committed to him, and we can only hope that he one day improves and stops committing the same mistakes over and over again. Then to switch to the defensive side of coaching, Anthony Weaver. I mean, the defense as a whole, they did enough to win this game. The offense is what lost us this game, but Anthony Weaver, I know his primary scheme is zone coverage. I cannot stand that zone coverage, especially in the red zone area. I think it's such BS to call it zone, especially when you have Jalen Ramsey, who you're paying a crap load of money to. You have Kendall Fuller, who you brought in on the other side. You're not allowing them to play man-to-man coverage, and it's just frustrating, specifically in the red zone area. Overall, like I said, the defense, though, they did play good enough in these first 2 games. They've been good enough to win, but the offense, unfortunately, keeps putting them in bad situations. For example, in this game, how many times did we give Buffalo the ball in field goal range? And then people go and blame the defense, but don't call out McDaniel, right? In these first 2 games, how many times already has he gone for it on 4th down and put the defense in a horrible position and put the opposing offense in great position to score and at least get a field goal? These are things that have to be called out at the end of the day. There's no more, he's funny, he can make jokes, he dresses cool. Look, McDaniel seems like a great guy. The players obviously love him. He gets along great with people. And I'm a huge fan of him. I want nothing more than for Mike McDaniel to be the coach that leads us to that Super Bowl, to being that consistent, winning team that we haven't been in over 50 years, right? At the end of the day, I gotta call out what I see because nobody else will call out what the hell is going on here, and it just gets frustrating as a fan. So yeah, I know I went a little off there, but I just had to get some stuff off my chest, And this happened Thursday. I'm recording this on Wednesday, almost a week later. So I've had a lot of things bubbled up in my head, in my mind, and I had to, put it all out here in the podcast for you guys to hear. But that said, there were some other, interesting games around the league in week 2. We had another classic between Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs pick up a 1-point victory against the Bengals on the foot of Harrison Butker as he sends the Chiefs home on a 51-yard field goal last play of the game to beat the Bengals by 1. Shout out to my boy Mike McDaniel, my favorite tight end of all time. He was the Bengals' leading receiver on the day. I believe he had 7 catches for 91 yards on 9 targets. He did have 1 drop in the game, but it was a joy to be able to watch him and to finally see a coaching staff that looks like they're actually using him rather than putting him in for 1 play, then sitting him out for 10 plays in a row. So I hope Zach Taylor's the coach that actually uses Mike Gesicki, because he's one of the best pass catching tight ends we've ever seen in this league, period. But with that said, I'm not going to get into really much more in football. I really wanted to talk about, this past week with the Dolphins because a lot's been going on. But that said, we also have some other key injuries. Our left tackle, Teron Armstead, he suffered an injury in the game. Running back Jeff Wilson suffered an injury. Raheem Mostert was out. He may play this week. We don't know yet. Robert Jones, the starting guard, he got hurt as well. So, it was a lot of stuff. It was very unfortunate. But that said, the Dolphins, we live to fight another day. We're only 2 weeks into the season. You got to find the way. You got to see improvement. The main thing, we got to see improvement starting this week, Sunday, 4:05 Eastern time against Seattle. The main thing, we got to see improvement starting this week with the coaching staff, with Mike McDaniel, with Anthony Weaver. We got to see that improvement right away. Skylar Thompson will be starting at quarterback for the Dolphins. We did bring in Tyler Huntley, or now he's known as Snoop Huntley, to be our backup quarterback. Of course, he a couple years ago, 2022, he started a couple of games for the Ravens. People are going crazy about him because he was a Pro Bowl selection. I mean, he's a decent backup quarterback. I was surprised because he's not really a fit at all in terms of the Shanahan or McDaniel system. He's not a fit whatsoever. So that's interesting that we went after him as a backup. But I think the coolest part of it, he is a Miami guy. He went to Hollandale Beach, or Hollandale High School, or Hollandale Beach. I forgot what it's called. I know they're the Chargers, Hollandale Chargers, whatever. That's pretty cool. He's a Miami guy. He gets to be a quarterback now, for his hometown Miami Dolphins. So I think it's a cool story overall. But yeah, this Sunday, 4:05 Eastern time, the Dolphins will be playing in Seattle against Geno Smith, another Miami guy, actually, Miramar High School, and the Seahawks over there in Seattle. And yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap up the sports section. I know I didn't go as in-depth today in the NFL world. I didn't go game by game or anything like that. But I just felt there was so much to talk about with the Dolphins that if I talked about other games going on, it would have just been too much information for everyone to take in and for me to talk about at the end of the day, But I hope you guys enjoyed this quick, Dolphins talk as part of the sports segment for this week's episode. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Flame Entertainment and Sports. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my opinions on night 1 of Dancing with the Stars. Hope you enjoyed my quick talk about P. Diddy and some potential other big name people that could be going down soon following his path. And I hope you enjoyed my rant, if you want to call it that, on Tua, McDaniel, and the Miami Dolphins. With that said, make sure to keep up with us once again on Instagram and TikTok at the Flame_ES. Once again, TikTok and Instagram, the Flame_ES. Appreciate everyone who's tuned in, who's watched, everyone who keeps up with us on social media. Appreciate you all so much. Shout out to all my people out there who motivate me and help me to keep going. Shout out to my parents, my sister Diana, my boys Brandon, Paul, everyone who encourages me to keep going on this path. I love podcasting so much, and I hope you guys hear the joy that I have doing this in every episode. And with all that said, stay safe, be smart, enjoy life. Until next time, everyone, take care.